But we'll come
Hey,
in.
happy
We're already
Friday
up.
again. Yeah.
That's what she said.
Yeah, right.
See, it's going to be a great Friday afternoon.
Erica Kesselman, I'm so
Dr.
excited
Erica
that you're here.
Kesselman.
Doctor, so sorry. Yeah, I should always never forget that.
Oh,
It cost
please.
you a ton of money. For
She didn't title it though. She
those
didn't put it in there.
The
No.
two most expensive initials in the English language.
Yeah.
DR.
Other than like parent, which is the most expensive.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Mom and dad are.
But we don't get
pretty-
like
I
a
would
cool
say
set
Esquire
of
costs a lot
letters.
too, but normally other people.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's to you.
Right. Yeah. So Dr. Erica Kesselman, welcome.
Thank you. So excited to be here to talk a little bit about gynecology, which, gynecology. We can talk about hormones. We can talk about testosterone.
You know what,
love how
Doc? We have
versatile you are.
episodes that haven't come out yet. And I know we said it off air, but like we talked to a PhD who is studying sexual function, and she had some opinions about, men not masturbating and data collection for women specifically, and the porn links. And
She had toys to measure clitoral stimulation. If you want to, I mean, she went way down the rabbit hole. So it was, like, pretty cool. I was like,
anal
wow,
contractions during
anal
orgasms.
contractions and orgasms.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh! If you haven't watched Masters in Sex, that's what it was all about.
She referenced that
did.
quite a
She definitely
bit.
referenced that. Yeah.
And
It
she
was
used
a-
to work with the Kesslinger group.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh! I'm so excited to listen.
Oh,
to
we'll connect you with
We'll
her for
introduce
sure.
you
Yeah,
after.
yeah.
Like,
So,
also, I want introductions to the sex witches.
oh yeah, they were great. Their episode
Oh,
just
God.
went live. Actually,
No,
I know.
you
Yeah.
have been listening.
Yeah. So
I'm like,
first of all, before we get going,
like-
thank you for the kind words that you said
Oh.
about our
Yeah.
show. I really appreciate it. I didn't know that until now that you were listening. It's always nice to hear somebody is listening out there. And I love that it was a doctor. Like,
I gotta say, like, I'm fringe medicine as it is, and then I'm like, oh God, doctors are gonna think I'm a moron.
Oh, dude, don't minimize yourself like that. Like, I have family. My brother is an acupuncturist, and sometimes we joke that I'm more woo-woo-y and out there than he is. We had a whole
Yeah.
debate on astrology and planetary poles because Mercury going into retrograde. Like, the number of times patients come into my office and they're like, well, Mercury's in retrograde. I'm like, that bitch is always going backwards. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And then,
I always have some like shit fit, and then somebody's like, Mercury's in retrograde. I'm like, of course it is. Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah, of course it is. That's the panacea for everything, right?
But as
fucking Mercury.
doing what you do, I did once ask Chat about full moons. And it said there's absolutely no research. Now, I see a lot of gynecologist, OBGYNs, and a lot of nurses in L&D, and they're like, oh, it's a full moon. I'm going to be busy tonight.
well,
Right?
it's crazy stuff happens when the moon is full. And here's the thing, like you're never going to see data or research on people jumping out of planes with and without parachutes. Like, we just sort of
That's
know.
one of my favorite studies. Have you seen the British Journal of Medicine study on that?
I love the BMJ.
Yeah.
Hilarious. We've
So
quoted that study on the show, I don't know, 100 times.
yeah, because it's like one of those ridiculous things. Like, okay, you know what? Women do cycle with the moon. It's if you think about, and this is the debate that my brother and I had, I'm like, okay, can we agree? I'm a big fan of starting any conversation with, can we agree that the moon
No.
is the time?
no, we cannot agree on anything, Erica.
Like, the moon impacts the tides. The tides are water. The human body is made up of a lot of water, like mostly water. So can we say that the moon impacts our bodies? 100%. And then you take planets that are a bajillion times bigger. Are they going to impact our bodies? Sure. So when Mercury's retrograde, can that impact us? Yes. What we choose to do with that is a choice. So, I mean, we can throw up our hands and say, I'm going to stay under the covers every time Mercury goes retrograde. Or we can just say, okay, you know what? I'm going to give myself a little grace. Like, today's Friday the 13th. Like, let's.
Is it fucking really?
Shit, it
Oh,
is.
Jesus Christ, I didn't even realize. Yeah, okay. I didn't even notice that. Damn it.
was, I'm going to be irreverent on the 13th.
Look at you.
Reschedule.
Look, Eric, I got to tell you this hysterical story, and I think your brother might like it too. So there are tropes of acupuncturists, especially the non-Asian ones, right? And I'm the Italian-American bald guy, and I know about 15 of me. So I'm at a seminar, right? And we're all watching this demo. Famous guy in Japan is over, and this menopausal, scraggly gray hair woman wearing a plaid skirt and smelling of essential oils and having a scarf on inside leans over to me and goes, and I think he was working on something in the realm of gynecology. He goes, she goes, women used to, menstruate during the full moon and then would ovulate during the new moon, because when we lived in caves, it was easier for us to have sex in the dark. And I was like taking steps away from her. And I get back to my clinic and I look at my fertility patients, and the ones that conceived, I'm like, motherfucker, their period was right around the full moon and they ovulated. And I'm like, God damn it.
Why was this person right?
I wanted evidence-based medicine, and I had a hippie tell me something.
And patchouli win.
You patchouli motherfucker.
I was like, I can feel you getting close to me. You have an aura. Said aura.
We haven't said vagina and we haven't said AI yet, so we're good.
Well, I mean, listen, you got a high bar here because Dr. Elliot came on and pulled out a dildo, a crystal clear dildo, like halfway through the show to demonstrate his cock ring.
His smart cock ring, by the way.
Smart cock ring, which was fucking awesome. But I'm like, look, I mean, that's the bar where we
like every once in a while somebody drops something.
Like, I have a blue glass one that I have in my office.
You can never have them too. It's like reading glasses. You just need one in every place you need reading glasses.
You don't know.
Yeah, you never know.
You don't know when the urge hits,
Yeah.
Here's my, anyway.
Let me ask you a general question about people in the genital region of medicine, right? Like, is this like a thing where you have to have a sense of humor? Because I'm not going to lie, all the people we've talked to about vaginas, penises, masturbation, porn, you name it, have had like the best sense of humor.
Well, hold on. There was one penis specialist.
I have a good sense of humor.
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, do you just have to, like, if you're like, listen, I got to talk about dicks all day or vaginas, like, we might as well make it, because somebody's going to already snicker. I might as well get ahead of this. Like, is that kind of...
I said I was not mature enough to go into Western medicine.
Yeah.
That was it. Like, somebody would say anus, and I'm like,
yeah. Every time my 17-year-old laughs at a 69 reference, I'm like, I'm also laughing, but I need to not because I'm the parent here. But I'm like, I'm a 13-year-old boy in the middle, the not so secret part of me.
Okay, I need to keep my parent face on, and then inside I'm dying.
Inside I'm cracking the fuck up. Now he's almost an adult. I'm like, all right, I give up. Yeah, you're right. It was funny.
Yeah. Like, I grew up with a gynecologist and an internist, a geriatrician as parents.
Wow.
We used to have conversations like legit where my kids would say, Mom, I have a new friend coming over. Can we not talk about vaginal discharge during dinner?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, we can skip it for tonight.
We can skip it for tonight. We'll get to that.
By the way, we're having Alfredo sauce.
Right, exactly. Would you like blueberries and cottage cheese?
Yes, cottage. Yeah, exactly.
How about red currant jelly?
Yeah. God, that's funny.
I don't
actually,
know.
Our first guest that touched it. Our first guest that touched any of this was on porn addiction, and Tom and I started out. We're like, listen, we have to get this out of the way. How much is too much?
Is there certain genres we should avoid?
Like, we're like, listen, we're going to head this off at the pass. Let's just start out by saying,
if I'm kinkier than a garden hose from the 80s, then, like, let me know if that's an issue.
Yeah. It was just, So let's get into this. What got you? I mean, so you answered most of it actually by saying you have a lineage in this. Is that kind of what walked you down this path, or
what got you into vaginas, Doc?
Yeah, what got you into vaginas? What? Like, yeah.
I don't know. Actually, it's really bizarre. Like when I was in high school, I was petrified of sex. The gynecologist was the G doctor. Sex was doing the nasty. If that part of my body fell off, it would have been fine. I saw myself as an 85-year-old, like, recluse living in New York City with 5 cats, wearing purple hats and going to museums on the free days. Like, I legit.
Neighbors with the woman Tom got this ovulation information from,
right,
apparently.
like smelling the patchouli through my next door neighbor's door in my rent-controlled apartment that I had since 1988. You know, like that.
Are you in New York?
Yeah.
No, but I eventually want to be. I lived in New York for a while.
I was going to say, you have an oddly specific knowledge of New York.
Yeah. Those are all, you said a bunch of New York things.
Those are all deep cut New York City things. Yeah.
I didn't even get into like the Free Friday stuff. But yeah, New York is hopefully where I will end up when I retire, because then you don't have to drive and you can go to museums on the free days.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
But no, I love New York City. But so it became like a running joke that gynecology is what I do. When I went back for my 30th high school reunion, all my friends were like, "You do what? You're a gynecologist?" So it was, my biological father was a surgeon. He was a breast surgeon. And some of it was like messed up, my daddy never loved me situation. Like, I'm going to be a doctor so that then we have something to talk about. And honestly, and this sounds crazy, and I've talked to Todd Otten about this, and also in the ebbs and flows of my career, at times when I just blew up my entire life and went sideways. Medicine, there's so many different parts to medicine, but never really where I thought I would be. But it's a linear track. Like, you don't have to think hard. You just have to be I joke that it's the game of the biggest loser. If you can sit in boredom for a really long period of time, then you can make it through orgo. Like, you have a rubric, follow it, you become a doctor at the end. But here's the thing, like, in listening to a lot of your shows, I realized that doctors are really good at a few things. And in college, like, we work hard in high school to get into a good college. We work hard in college to get into a good med school. We work hard in med school to get a good residency. Never are we taught to play well with each other. So when you get us all together, once we're professionals, you're like, okay, now you guys have to all work together. We're like, oh, we've never shared our toys in the sandbox.
Right.
We've competed against each other for our whole lives. So, you know, in the 80s and 90s, well, the 90s and 2000s, when I was going through my training, it was kind of cutthroat. And then, you know, getting into practice, it was like, okay, now we have to play well together. And I think that's one of the places where medicine started failing patients, because we were all, as physicians, trying to one up each other.
Right.
So there are a lot of places where when people are using AI and people are using ChatGPT, like I heard you talking about your shoulder and uploading it and getting this answer, but your doctor,
Tom, she is paying attention. Holy shit, I don't even know what to say. Like, oh my God.
I'm still blown away because I haven't remembered half of these episodes she's referencing.
Oh my God. Yeah, okay.
So, you know, it's, your doctor has 2 milliseconds to give you the answer.
Right.
But a lot of times we were like, my doctor spent 25 minutes talking to me and I don't know a thing that she freaking said. So whatever, I'm going to just do what I need to do. This is just such a long, weird answer to your question.
It's a long format show.
Yeah, we booked the time for you. So, like, I mean,
so, you know, there's so many pieces to it. I didn't get into med school my first go around. So that's actually when I lived in New York and had a blast and learned about real life. Because when you go from school to school to school to school, you just stay in this infantilized world.
Totally.
So I got this cool perspective on living check to check in New York City. I lived in Chelsea before Disney took over Times Square, before Chelsea Piers was a thing, and before the High Line was there. So it was kind of a gritty, grungy kind of place. Like, I knew the prostitutes on my street because when I was going to work at 6 a.m., they were coming home. It was like, hey, how are you guys? Hey, good. How are you?
By the way, now you can still live paycheck to paycheck as a full-fledged doctor.
I have a feeling that's more the rule than the exception now.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So that it was just sort of this thing that I decided I wanted to do, and just kept driving at it until I did it. I went to med school in Tel Aviv, Israel, which was
cool.
a cool place to go to med school. And it really, in a lot of ways, shaped how I practice medicine now. And that's where I realized, like, you'll find when you talk to a lot of gynecologists, we're all cut from the same cloth. We are adrenaline junkies. We are high energy. We do not need a lot of sleep on the regular. We are kind of gluttons for punishment, but we also like continuity. Like, I can see patients in the office from the time they're 14. I've been in practice now 25 years. So my patients who were 14, when I started seeing them for birth control for irregular periods, I went through their first relationships, their first sexual debut, their first pregnancies, their first marriages, sometimes their second marriages.
I was just going to say their third marriage. Yeah.
I love this term sexual debut. I'm unfulfamiliar with that. Can I have a second sexual debut? Do I get a second? Do I get a second start over?
Well, I have some patients that when they're going through separations, divorces, go multiple years without having sex, and then they say they're born again virgins. So yeah, I think you can have more than one. You can have a sexual debut with any new partner. It's your debut. Like,
maybe I should have been a gynecologist. I too am energized by vaginas, and maybe that could have, like, I mean, maybe I could have been a good. I mean, you're making it sound so attractive. You're like, oh my god, this is the best career ever.
And the big reason I didn't go into Western medicine was because I like when the stuff on the inside stays on the inside. Every time I've talked to a gynecologist, something's coming out that shouldn't be. It's like, no. Matt, when I learned what leukorrhea was, no, that it's not supposed to do that, right? No.
Like, all the that's what she said stuff going through my head. I'm like, funny, because I see people when they've had things going in there that shouldn't be going in there.
I can see that being a problem too.
But oftentimes that does lead to something else coming out as well, whether it's a baby or a discharge.
Yeah.
All those people that come in to see me and they're like, well, is there a huge baby boom right now because, I live in New England, because the Patriots won, or because the Red Sox won, or because, the Bruins won. I'm like, no, there's a baby boom because sex feels good. People do it without protection, and then they get pregnant. It's job security.
This is pretty binary, folks.
Yeah, that's a linear path right there.
Yeah. There's not a lot of magic to this. Yeah,
exactly. But now the number of people that are like, well, I could probably do what you do because I watch Grey's Anatomy. Isn't your job just like Grey's Anatomy? And I always laugh. I'm like, well, actually, it's almost the same, except nobody looks that good after having sex in a call room. And there's never music to tell me when something bad is going to happen.
The ominous.
I need that foreboding music to let me know when it's going to be a hard thing. I don't get that dramatic irony, so I feel like it's cheating a little bit. They get the heavy music to let them know when
they get a little bit of context. Little environmental clues.
I agree. I think theme music would be amazing.
We actually just talked about this last night with my family watching TV. We're like, wouldn't it be funny if mom had theme music that followed her around the house? Like, they could tell you what kind of mood she's in. And
I'm going to take a guess and say your wife was not happy about that conversation.
No, she was laughing because she's like, oh yeah, this would be funny. And I'm like, well, not always funny, but I mean,
but we would know when to duck.
Yeah. When she walks in the room and it goes thunk thunk, you're like, oh fuck, like.
It's that ominous music that we need to know about. That's like, oh, this is when mom needs to go into the red tent.
So what is it about gynecology you think that gives that kind of energetic feel that you kind of used a lot of vibrant words to describe this profession? Like, what do you think it is about that draws that kind of personality? Because I mean, I can see surgeon because it's like very like live or die. Like, we are at the fucking cusp of everything. So like, it's almost like, give me a line of cocaine and let me fix this, or this is better than cocaine. I don't get that vibe from gynecology. I'm just curious. Like,
actually, if you think about the moment before a baby is born, like that's a before and after moment in someone else's life. And I think about like what happens in a doctor's head when they're doing surgery, or an obstetrician before a delivery, or a midwife before a delivery. there's a parade of horribles of every possible thing that could happen. It's almost like when I think about computers, like I am running through an algorithm of, okay, the heart rate is this, and this is this, and there are all these things that could potentially happen. When that baby comes through that birth canal successfully, and takes that first breath and has all 10 fingers and all 10 toes and ends up on the mom's belly. And there's no crazy hemorrhage after. And the placenta doesn't get stuck. And all of a sudden, my parade of horribles has gone from being massive to tiny. But at the same time, I'm there when a soul gets housed in a body.
Sure.
There's no bigger adrenaline rush than all of this absolute insane chaos into complete bliss and tranquility. It's like intensity and we're done.
Yeah.
And it's like that sympathetic bam and then that sympathetic, it's honestly, it's like the last 0.2 of a marathon. It's just epic.
I love that analogy. I've not given birth. I've watched 2 of them happen. I have not actually obviously given birth, but I have run several marathons, so I can relate
Matt,
to that.
She's listened to every show. She knows.
Yeah,
no,
I know.
Not every
Yeah.
I don't want to be that creepy stalker girl.
No.
That's all right.
But that is a cool perspective because you know, that is a sharp that day is a day of contrast, right? Like it is for sure a day of contrast, right? And my son was actually born during a blackout in New York City on a heat wave. It was like 106 or something.
Oh, I remember that.
Fucking bonkers. And we're in Edgewater, New Jersey, looking at New York City without a single light on, which was just fucking.
That's got to be crazy.
Yeah, and it was a lightning storm. It was heat lightning, right? So we had.
Oh my gosh!
So I'm outside on the phone. It's my son was born at like 3:30 in the morning or something, 3:10 in the morning.
Yeah, they don't come between 9 and 5.
My daughter did. My daughter came at like 10 in the morning, and my wife knew she was in labor in the middle of the night. Was able to hold it off until literally till I woke up. She goes, I didn't feel like getting out of bed, but we should probably go. I'm in labor. Like, and so
okay, I love her a little bit. I hope I get to meet her next.
Yeah. She'll be there on Thursday. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. But like, here we are. It's 106 degrees outside. There's no power in the hospital. The fucking O2 alarms are going like a symphony, like a fucking terrible symphony, right? Like every alarm is going off that can. They're wheeling old people on vents out the door to other hospitals like a fucking triage. Oh it was horrible. And then in the maternity ward, every kid was put in there. We weren't allowed to see my son, nothing. And we had Nurse Cratchit at the fucking door, like this 6 foot tall linebacker of a woman who's basically literally saying, over my dead body, will you get in this room? And she was the alarm. Like the alarms weren't working. The swipe cards weren't working. And yet all 10 toes and fingers are there. APGAR test is great. Everybody's happy. And we were like, look, we did it. The hard part's over. So like that day, just in my own life, like looking at the morning, which was like, we were in 12 hours of labor. It was like this whole fucking, it's a crazy day that ended fine. Like awesome even, you know, even though all the shit was raining down around us. We're like,
absolutely. And people that like, honestly, that's one birth. I work at a little community hospital now. I've worked for a little while. I worked in a bigger city hospital. So like my hospital now does about 500 deliveries a year. It's pretty chill overall. It's low risk stuff for the most part. We ship out stuff that's higher risk, but in the hospital that I had worked in for a little while, they did 9,000. So there were times when I was laboring 5 or 6 people all at the same time while admitting people into the hospital and seeing patients on the floors that were having issues and doing a circumcision and doing like, there's all of these ants. Oh, and I have to do a surgery on an ectopic pregnancy. So her tube doesn't rupture and she doesn't die.
Wow.
So, like, that feeds it. Honestly, we all really have a little ADHD because you're looking at monitors. I'm looking at baby. I'm looking at mom. I'm looking at action patterns. I'm looking at more than one. I have to be able to flip between all of them. And that calms my very busy brain. I love that. So most OBGYNs have a little bit of that. Like we like to do lots of different things all the time.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's a great perspective. I mean, yeah, it sounds like you're in like the trenches in that one. You're right. Like, yeah.
Spinning plates and stuff,
Spinning plates. Yeah. Cutting penises. I mean,
I'm juggling balls. And
I heard gynecologist and I'm like, how did dick get in there?
Yeah.
It was like, wait a minute.
Well, Tom,
hold on.
if you must know.
Hold on.
When a man and a woman like each other, there's a hug.
I was talking about the impromptu bris, but
oh yeah.
We do decisions too.
Oh wow.
So yeah, it's when I did my first OBGYN rotation in medical school, I was like, oh, these are my people.
Yeah.
This is where I need to be. And it just sort of flowed from there. I ended up in a wonderful residency in Long Island. I lived there for 4 years.
Where in Long Island? Because that's where I grew up.
Mineola.
My father had an office in Mineola. My grandfather, Carl Place, not too far away, had a pharmacy there. Mm-hmm. And then I practiced in New Hyde Park before I moved down here, which isn't too far from Mineola.
Well, that's not far at all.
Not at all. I was talking to a colleague that I went to school with after being down here for about a decade, and my mom's from Western PA, so I can hide the Long Island accent pretty good. And halfway through, I go,
so cool.
I go, Michelle, did I ever sound like that? She goes, what do you mean sound like that? I'm like, whatever the fuck you're saying to me.
Yeah.
It's horrible. And I'm in Baltimore. They say hun and phone and home.
Yeah. My kids are saying that now, and it's like kind of like I'm from California originally, but I lived in New Jersey, and then I went to school in Connecticut, and then I lived in New York City, and now I'm in Baltimore. And like those accents are all competing with one another. So I have like words here and there, but to hear my son say phone, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, you know which one drives me nuts that I will not let anyone get away with it. I'm done my work. I'm done. I had my tattoo artist. He's done 90% of my tattoos. He's born and raised here in Baltimore. I'm done my tattoo. You want to go get something to eat? Hey, bud, I love you to death. We spent 2 solid full days, 48 plus hours together tattooing me. I have finished with, or I am done with. I'm done my. Do not do that to me, man.
Yeah.
I'm in New England now, and where I am, I'd never heard. There are a lot of people that do so don't I, so aren't I. When like, how about just me too?
Yeah.
Oh, so don't I? Like, that sounds so off in all of my.
I don't even know.
Nothing sounds right about this. Yeah. Everything's off.
Yes. And in Philly, I spent some time in Philly.
Yeah.
And so there, it's not only phone, it's water.
Water. Yeah.
You're going to go to Rita's and get a water ice?
Yeah, listen, the California East Coast thing is funny. Like sneakers don't exist in California. It's tennis shoes, and like it's a whole bunch of them. So when I moved out here, there's like a laundry list that we instantaneously adopted, and that was in North Jersey. And then all of a sudden, you move around a little bit, and you're like, oh man, the East Coast is like living in Europe from a country standpoint. Like you just take a little drive and you're in a whole nother fucking country. You're not in like, it's like,
totally. And then there's Delaware where nobody leaves or goes, nobody like ever leaves that is from Delaware. They're in Delaware for forever.
Yeah. My parents moved to Delaware from Long Island. And the first time we drove there, I'm like, fuck, it's flat. And there's literally nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
It's like Wayne's World. Remember back in the day, they're going through, it's like Chicago. They're like, it's Delaware.
Hi, we're in Delaware.
Delaware.
Yeah, exactly. No, I only like Delaware for the flatness. The bike riding, I ride from Towson to Rehoboth, and that's a great bike ride after you get out of Maryland. Like the state line ends on a flat road at Dover Downs, basically, and it's flat the rest of the way. I'm like, this I can get my head around. Biking on flat is way better. So
that anyway, was a question that we screwed up for the Natty Boners at the trivia night. We kind of crashed. They were like, what's the flattest states? And we're like, I don't know, Idaho. And they're like, Delaware. And I'm like, sorry, Natty Boners. We got adopted by the Natty Boners team. And now it's all I ever want to do is go back and Play trivia with the natty boners.
Yeah.
You like saying natty boners.
I thought it was a very clever name. It was the best one there for the night.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So back to vaginas, if you don't mind. Let's get back to that.
A different trivia team called like the Crazy Clitoris.
Yeah, that would also work for me. Like that. Yeah, the crazy clits. Yeah.
Just to hear the announcer saying "crazy clit" over and over again throughout the night would be worth it.
Only if we win. Crazy clits and natty boners. Like, what could possibly
go wrong? Yeah. So let me ask you sort of a broader question, right? When I was, we recently talked about this on the show. When I was 13, my doctor, for the first time in my entire life, said, "Do you know about masturbation?" And I was like mortified because my parents didn't talk about it. Like, you know, actually, I don't even remember talking about it with my friends all that much when I was that age. Like, it just wasn't, I don't know. It wasn't part of the talk track, I guess. I don't know. Now, though, I drove my son and his friends somewhere, and this was before they had their license, and they're in the back seat. She's like, "Oh my God, I'm bleeding like a stuck pig this month. Like, and my birth control pills are late." And I'm like, and I'm driving and I'm literally like, you know, just eyes straight ahead. I'm like, pretend like you have blinders on, don't engage, just stay. I'm like, I don't know what is appropriate, like, for this, but like what struck me, and I got home and told my wife this, and she's like, "Oh my God, they were just saying that in the backseat." I'm like, dude, I can't. I talk about this stuff on the show. I talk about it with friends. I'm not ashamed or embarrassed about it at all. But when there's a bunch of kids talking about it, I go back to my kid and go, "Fuck, this was off limits, hardcore off limits." Yeah. How has that changed now for you?
I think we're all about of the same age.
Yeah, I turned 50
I would say, yeah.
So, I mean, Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret was scandalous. Wifey was like, "Oh my God, reading porn." I mean, we grew up.
What's Wifey? Because I feel like that was a geared towards female book that I would not have.
It was a Judy Blume book, but it
really
talked about sex. Yeah. And I mean, these were like scandalous books. Like, we saw naked people on National Geographic, and that was kind of it, unless, I don't know, my parents put The Joy of Sex on a bookshelf just to like hide it in plain sight. And I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah, this is fun. Mom, what's the Kama Sutra?
Yes.
Written by an a monk that was abstinent. Yeah. Weirdest thing.
That it is remarkable. I knew that. I think that's pretty cool.
I structurally, I don't think you can get into any of those positions. I don't think it's.
Well, you have to practice yoga daily for at least an hour.
I think you had to have EDS, honestly.
I will tell you, I have tried several times with people over the years to say, let's do every position in the Kama Sutra. It's been met universally with the same. No.
But hey, at least you're dating people who know what the Kama Sutra is. So that's a win.
Yeah, I'm not sure that was always the case. I think part of the time they're like, I don't know what this is, but it sounds weird, so we're just going to say
that isn't a deciding factor all the time.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't have good karma, so I don't want to suture it.
Yeah.
So I think there's a change overall in how I think social media has been a big part of it. I think that pop culture is a big part of it. If you think about how media has changed and how people consume media, I do a lot of sex talks for schools because it's just not taught adequately, and grown-ups have a hard time. People of our generation have a hard time talking about it because we never talked about it when we were that age.
Because our parents told us not to.
Yeah.
Right.
So do you bring the glass dildo?
Yeah.
When you go-
No, actually, I don't need to, because these kids are like watching hardcore porn starting at the age of 11.
It's very upsetting.
I don't need to bring anything because I just need to right size it and let them know that A, porn isn't real, it's a movie. B, there are a lot of amazing things about intimacy, but intimacy and sex are totally different. Intercourse intimacy are like, so I hate the fact that people use the word intimacy instead of intercourse interchangeably because they're so different. I think probably the least intimate part of sex is the intercourse part. And that you can have intimacy without penetration. Like, that's just not shown in porn. So the number of young women that I see coming into my office that are complaining of painful sex at the age of like 18 to 25. I had a patient come in. I love this story. She was 19 years old. She came in. She's like, sex hurts and it shouldn't hurt. I'm only 19. Like, okay. So we talk a little bit about foreplay. We talk about lubes. We talk about where does it hurt? I examine her. I make sure that structurally everything is fine. And I give her some tips, tricks, things like that. She comes back 2 years later. She's a sophomore, junior in college. And she's like, Dr. Kesselman, sex doesn't hurt anymore. I'm like, that's amazing. What did you change? She's like, I'm with a woman.
It was the whole dick part. It really, was really a non-starter for me.
It was like penetration without. So I think that when boys are looking at porn, average age that kids start watching porn is 11.
That can't be true. Is it really
God
that
damn
young?
it.
Hand to God.
Oh, God.
That is fucking troubling.
Yeah. So here's a little plug for something that has nothing to do with me. There's a great website called culturereframed.org. There's this woman, Gail Dines, who's made it her passion to really right size porn. And she talks a lot about the pornification of our culture. So why are people talking about this? Because our culture has been pornified. And in a lot of ways, that's the education that people get. And she, if you have 15 minutes, she did a plenary at the American Academy of Pediatrics in 2016 that changed my life in the way that I see everything. So if you just kind of Google Gail Dines plenary AAP, it's life-changing how she breaks down Miley Cyrus going from Hannah Montana to Miley Cyrus with this photo shoot where she's half naked lying on her dad. And then when adults went ballistic about it, they just threw her in front of the cameras with no adults there.
Yeah.
And she had to take responsibility. Not a shock that 5 years later, she's naked on a wrecking ball. And 2 years after that, she's twerking with Alan Thicke, but she gets blamed and he's like, whatever. Can you believe she did that? Like,
yeah, he got yelled at for stealing a Marvin Gaye riff.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we have all of these images that kids are getting inundated with. So, yeah, I'm glad they're talking about normal things like periods and bleeding. I think a lot of the push of our generation talking about this perimenopausal thing is an absolute knee-jerk reflex, not being able to talk about puberty. Because all of the stuff that happens to us in puberty is what happens in menopause, but it's backwards. Like GYNs say this all the time, that menopause is puberty in reverse. If you think about puberty as we go from girls to women in about a 10 to 12 year period of time, our entire body changes. So when people come into my office and they're 48 and they say, I am doing nothing different. I'm exercising the same. I'm eating the same. I'm doing all the things, but I can't lose weight. But I'm changing nothing. I'm like, you know what? A 12-year-old girl changes nothing, but she turns into a woman.
Right.
And her body shifts and her body changes, right? So like when you go from being a girl to being a woman, all of that happens with estrogen and progesterone in your body. It's estrogen and progesterone that drive that change. And then perimenopause is the slow withdrawal of those hormones. It's a natural progression, just like puberty is a natural progression. Guess what? I changed nothing, but I've got gray in my hair.
Right.
Why? Because it's a natural effing progression. So all of these people pathologize menopause and perimenopause as this disorder and something wrong with them when it's actually something completely right with them. Does it mean that we have to treat it? No, but if it's impacting your quality of life, then yes.
But
Just
that's why
like
we pathologize it, is because they could make money on it, right? Like, I mean,
Well,
if it's a
that's
pathology, then we could cash in on it, right?
Yeah. Like I just did a post. So I started, my biggest competitor is Dr. Google and AI. And it's one of those, can't beat them, join them. So let's put a doctor into Dr. Google. So I have been working on developing an online presence to just take fear and fiction out of transitions and medicine. Like, let's take the fear part out of it and add facts, because there's so much fear mongering. But the frustration, like now that I'm of a certain age, like I get all these things in my feeds. It's like, oh, these are great shorts for being over the age of 50 because they have an elastic waistband. Like, I know plenty of 20 somethings that get bloated around their period that would love elastic waist shorts.
Sure.
Or just because they fucking feel good. Like, don't market that as over 50 shorts or pants. Like, I've given up, so I'm wearing elastic waist pants. Like, I put myself in jeans jail when I feel like I'm getting bloated, because that stops me from eating dessert after every effing meal. So to backtrack, like, we need to stop pathologizing normal progression. But when we weren't taught to talk about it in puberty, it's like all of a sudden, it's like the floodgates are opening, and everybody that wasn't able to talk about their pubertal transition is talking about their perimenopausal transition, and they are shouting it from the rooftops. I love it, and I hate it all at the same time. I love it, because I think we should be talking about it. We should be talking about the transition, but we should be talking about it as, what can we do health and wellness wise? How can we integrate body, mind, and spirit when we're talking about these transitions? And how can we normalize it in a really healthy way? Because guess what? If you had trauma in your teens and 20s going through puberty, it's going to manifest in the perimenopausal phase. So every single woman, just like every single girl, is going to have a different story with puberty. Some girls go through it like that and they have no issue. Some girls have crazy heavy bleeding like a stuck pig. Some girls have crazy cramps. Some don't. Why? Because we're all wired differently. Right. So there is no one size fits all. And that's where I get really frustrated in the mail order medicine that's happening now, where some of it is
like some brand names where you call in and they just send you dick hardening pills or hormone replacement, or
right, like the one that rhymes with MIDI. And part of it is shame on us as physicians for not filling that void and learning more and coming up to speed fast enough and listening to our patients. So some of that is totally on us. I will own some of that. You know what? As doctors, we didn't learn a lot about menopause, but okay, part of the practice of medicine is learning, growing, and developing your skill set. Right. And as more studies are being done on women, we're learning more about this transition. But does that mean that every single woman needs hormones? Some women don't.
But Doc, this is the problem that that we've talked about a lot on this show for sure. But like you'd said off air before we got on that, like there's a lot of vilification of doctors and whatnot. And I'll definitely own the piece that we've contributed to that, because we definitely have vilified not necessarily the doctor, but this sort of like
the process around it. Yeah.
The process around it, because like, look, this show doesn't exist without us being above average curious about the same shit that everyone should be curious about, in my opinion. We should all care about all this shit because it's all fucking important, right? Like, but I'm not normal. Like, I'm not everybody else, right? And so if that's the norm, if the norm is like, hey, give me a pill and send me on my way, in a way, I could argue that you guys did exactly what your patients were telling you. You guys responded exactly the way.
And to piggyback off of Matt's thing, this is why we have antibiotics that, bacteria that are antibiotic resistant, because I went to the doc, I felt like shit, they didn't give me anything. So what did they start doing? We're just going to give you antibiotics. And now we have all these gut issues because we killed everything in the pond. We have MRSA. We have all of these things that... because the docs were trying to fill a need, the patient wasn't getting something because go home and sleep it off was not the option. I have so many patients that come in to see me that basically come in with their agenda and with what they want, because they Googled it and they said, okay, this is what it says that I should have. And my response is, can we back up that truck? Because this isn't just a menu where you come in and order and I write you a prescription. And I think that I'm not going to say I'm the exception to the rule. I think that every physician comes into things differently. There are times when patients come in, they're like, I need a hysterectomy. Like,
How about
And
we
you're like,
not
wow,
leave
that's
it?
invasive. Can we talk about that for a minute?
Right?
What happened? I don't want to have a period anymore. Okay,
Yes.
well.
I mean, sometimes that's what it is. And then on the flip side of that, it's funny because I have someone that I'm very friendly with who went to a gynecologist. She has terrible fibroids. And she's like, I couldn't believe they told me that I should have a hysterectomy. I'm like, okay, so I have patients that get rip shit pissed at me because I am not giving them a hysterectomy. Well, why did I wait 3 months to see you when I can't even get what I want? Because you can't always get what you want, but you might get what you need.
Yeah. There's a song about this.
It takes me 5 minutes to write a prescription. It takes me 10 minutes to pre-op a patient. It takes me 15 minutes to tell a patient why not to take the medication and why they don't need surgery. So if I want to do things fast and loose and run on time, I can write the prescription or I can do the surgery. But I had some amazing mentors and I had incredible training where one of the mentors that I have used to say, any monkey can do surgery. It takes a surgeon to know when not to.
Yeah. And I think that could be said about a lot of professions, but like medical, it's like the stakes are really high. Like, you don't want to gut somebody with a hysterectomy just because they don't want to have a period.
Well, yeah. I mean, exactly. If your mechanic's wrong, they just fix something else.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, here's the thing, like surgery doesn't come without, again, going back to that parade of horribles. I've seen people go into surgery for a hysterectomy and wind up dead from a pulmonary embolism because they, pelvic surgery is not without, even though we do it laparoscopically and it's minimally invasive, it's still invasive.
Operative word being minimally invasive, not zero invasive, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And, I can't unsurgerize someone. So if someone comes in, they're like, well, I have pelvic pain. I'm like, okay, well, there are probably about 4 dozen things that can cause pelvic pain. And when I talk to people about like the pelvis is a bowl of muscle, you have lots of muscles that originate there. You have lots of, and they go to your whole lower extremities. You have lots of muscles that originate there. And that's your abdominal wall and your back. That's like your core, the bowl of muscle in your pelvic floor is massive. All the nerves that go from your spine to your lower extremities run through the pelvic floor, right? So you've got muscles, you've got nerves, you've got blood vessels. Then you've got your whole urinary system. So you've got your bladder, you've got your ureters, you've got like kidneys go there, you have your urethra. Then you have your vagina, your uterus, your tubes, your ovaries. And then you have your GI system. You have your colon, you have your rectum. So like when we do surgery there, it's tiger country. There's a lot of stuff there.
Yeah.
I'm going to start referring to my wife's nether regions as tiger country and see what happens. She is a redhead. Yeah. Don't start going there. No, that's just nightmarish. Matt, I think we found our T-shirt.
The
pelvis is a bowl.
Oh, and it's filled with tigers.
It's tiger bowl.
Tiger country. Tiger bowl. That's the next name for your trivia. Tiger bowl.
Yeah, exactly.
So, any of those organ systems, the musculoskeletal system, the urinary system, the GI system, the GU system, all of those can cause pain. So like, let's drill down and figure out where your pain is coming from. And then that pain. Some of the worst pain that I've seen has been from something called pelvic slip syndrome, where it's an asymmetry in the pelvis that's caused by musculoskeletal dysfunction. Like Matt, you're a runner. If you're running on the road, there's a curve to the road. So one foot is always going to be striking higher than the other. Well, when you do that for 4 hours, multiple times, you're going to have a shift in your pelvic bones and musculature that will eventually hit those nerves. And people come in, they're like, my ovaries hurt. I'm like, yeah, you don't really have a lot of nerve endings in your ovaries. The only time your ovaries hurt is when you rupture a cyst. And that happens, by the way, what nobody learns, people come in, they're like, I get cysts all the time. I'm like, great. That means you ovulate. Unless your ovaries are suppressed, every effing month, you're going to get a cyst. And not only are you going to get a cyst, you're going to get lots of them. And one is going to rupture. It's going to pop. And when it pops, you might feel pain. That's called middle schmerz. It's a natural.
Is that what middle schmerz is?
Yeah. mid-cycle pain, middle schmerz.
Yeah, no, I knew the German descent of the word, but I didn't realize it was associated with the rupturing of.
It's ovulation.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
But you know what,
So, like,
Doc, nobody wants to connect all these dots. You know what I mean? Like everyone, and this is the problem. I mean, we can go back and forth with who to blame for this, but like, you know, the reality is most people don't understand the interconnective nature of anything, let alone their own bodies, which is weird to me because like, it's the only thing I see. Like to your point, when I'm running and I get like a pain somewhere, because I'm running and have plenty of time to think about it, I'm like, all right, let's go through the chain here. What happens? What's connected to what's happening here? And I will get to those conclusions, but it takes me like literally intentionally dissecting that to figure that out. And I can't tell you how many people about this show talk. They're like, oh, we saw an episode on this and I didn't realize this, or that. And I'm like, how did that never cross your mind? And then it's like, oh, well, I mean,
so like to kind of circle back to that whole perimenopause thing, like there's so much body, mind, and spirit that goes into this transition. And we live in a culture where aging is not really revered.
No.
Aging is like the be all end all evil. But when you think about cultures where age is revered, they go through a much easier menopause.
Oh, that's interesting.
Indigenous populations, they go through an easier menopause. Why? Because you have your elder women. They're the healers. They're the keepers of institutional knowledge. And in the United States, at least, for the most part, aging is not seen that way. You want to look younger. That's the reason why people are injecting all this shit in their face.
Hey, look, my favorite biohacker to make fun of recently got a facelift.
Yeah.
And I was immediately shitting on him. I'm like, fuck you, dude. Fuck you and your $60,000 worth of stem cells every 6 months.
Yeah.
I'll fight him. Sorry.
No, but then, you know what, though? Then I hate to pick on my wife on here, but, you know, her and I have parted ways on plastic surgery in general, fighting this whole thing, right? And so she is of the mindset that's like, well, if that makes somebody feel beautiful, then we should encourage them to get all the face work that they want to do. And I was like, okay, I guess let me rephrase. I'm not trying to say they're stupid for getting it, but I am saying it looks so unnatural. Jim Carrey just came out in the news recently for that. No one's heard his name forever, but apparently he had a facelift or something. And I saw one picture of him, and I'm sure it's the worst picture they could find, right? Like, I mean,
people were saying they thought it was a body double. That's how. Yeah, I mean,
he looked wildly
synthetic.
Right?
He looked, yeah,
and he looks very synthetic. And here's the thing: do I think Jim Carrey's a bad person for getting a facelift? No. Do I think he looks fucking weird as shit? Yes, absolutely fucking.
But I would say there's like correcting something minor, and then there is body dysmorphia. Yeah, you know.
It kind of goes back to that whole thing. Like if in puberty you were the later one to develop, or you didn't like your boobs, or you didn't like your thighs, or I mean, I was of the time period where sororities, they took black markers
and circled the facts.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's right. We're fucking assholes.
Yeah.
Right? So like, if this is how women who are now going through perimenopause and menopause saw their bodies earlier, I mean, I totally get it. And I don't discount it. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I have a deep crease here that I get filler here.
Oh, God. Oh.
You know what? It makes me look angry all the time if I don't.
You said something early on in the show that is a sign of that. And it comes from Chinese face reading. And I'm not going to say, I'm not going to say it on the air. I'll tell you. We got like 7 minutes before everybody starts turning the episode off. So I'll tell you at the end.
I can still frown. I can still make it.
No. But it's okay. It's specifically this and No,
Tom will give you a reading later, apparently.
I'm colorblind.
Although I'm a little annoyed too. I'm like, wait, you bring that up and then don't tell us what it is.
You're absolutely right. You don't sleep. But that's the tip of your tongue. But if you want, without digging too into it, you mentioned a strained relationship with your father. This, which I rudely call like the hatchet mark, is a sign of a disharmony with a father or father figure. Either they're absent or the relationship is really bad, or I don't know why I sat on that. I just didn't want to out you. It's like,
I'm clearly an open book.
Well, no. So like I fucked up with a patient. Like, I did a seminar on face reading, and she's sitting there and I'm working on her neck and shoulders. She's actually sitting up, and she goes, "That's all bullshit." I was telling her about what I did over the weekend. She asked, and I go, "Really? How's dad?" And she started fucking crying and going, "He was such a fucking asshole." And I'm like, "All right, we don't do that anymore." That was
we don't do this anymore. Yeah.
Another thing I don't do anymore is if somebody's pregnant, there is a pulse that we take.
Yeah, you take it in two different places. It's like a running pulse, right?
And the classics say you can feel two different pulses in specifically one position. Now, what I feel is like that pulse is really strong. You should have had your period, right? These things line up. I told somebody once that she was pregnant before she had the ultrasound. Mm-hmm. I didn't see her after that for about 6 months. She had an ectopic pregnancy. I was technically right. And I'm like, all right, we don't do that anymore either.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, now the Aura Ring tells you. I have like so many patients that have come in that because your pulse changes, the Aura Ring picks it up before they miss a period.
And see, that's the part about the AI doctor. Let's talk about that for a second, because I know we are getting tighter on time, but like that is the part of the AI like revolution that I do think is super intriguing, right? Like, I don't think that I will never go to a bone doctor ever again, but my first line of defense is going to now be ChatGPT Health, because my experience gave me more information for a neurotic mind like mine than my doctor was ever going to give me. Right now, I'm not saying she's bad.
Yeah. But here's the other part to it. So as a physician, and I agree with like almost all of the people that you have had on, that I will never be able to accumulate data the way AI ever. That is a mother load of information. So when you think about the actual distillation of facts and information, AI wins 100% of the time. But what AI doesn't have is wisdom.
Sure.
And it doesn't have the integration that you need to really tailor each individual person's care. And the problem is that there's been a lot of care has been taken out of medical care. It's become medical treatment. And everybody has measurables and everybody has data. And here's one of the things that I love about being an OBGYN is that it takes 40 weeks to grow a baby. You can't rush it. I can't make the heartbeat come faster. I can't make a baby develop sooner. I can't tell you the gender earlier. Now we can because there's cell-free DNA. But there are so many immeasurables. I can't tell you when someone's going to go into labor when they get pregnant. It's not like an airline ticket where you show up on your due date. So there are so many things where I can legit look at someone and say, you just need to let your body do its thing. And that's where, the 20-somethings that are injecting Botox to prevent their faces from moving so they don't get wrinkles. If that makes them feel good, okay. But what I worry about is we're all going to start looking like Stepford wives. We're all going to look the same. Yeah. And speaking to the whole Jim Carrey thing, when you're living in a world like Hollywood, that becomes the norm. And so you start gravitating to the norm. When you take someone out of that norm, when you take a glowfish out of the glowfish pool and you put it in with goldfish, it looks different.
It looks different.
Yeah. And so when we think about our society, and there is so much othering that's happening right now, well, like, I hate to bring up like a Ted Lasso moment, but we need to embrace things. Like,
we love Ted Lasso.
I fucking love Ted Lasso.
I know, right?
Can't wait for the new season.
Yes. Embracing things with curiosity instead of judgment. Like being able to fix somebody else's crown and knowing that doesn't take away from your own amazingness is what we need to really start moving towards. Both like the number of times people are like, my doctor didn't take time with me and blah, 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 blah. Like, I totally get that. And that is a failure of the system. And this is where, you know, Suck It Up Buttercup is just elevating.
Oh, you segued so smooth there, Doc. I fucking love you.
It's almost like you're a professional or something. Yeah.
I know, but this is the wrap up, plug your shit part of the show. Yeah. So it's like, this brings up one of the things that, you know, I talked about with Todd is that I went to medical school and worked really, really hard for 4 years. I did residency, which stripped away my soul, stripped away everything I was. I was of the time when there were no hour restrictions. So it was not uncommon to work over 100 hours a week. And that was taking care of people, doing surgery after not sleeping for 24 hours.
Life or death situations.
Right. Like delivering babies on no sleep. I fell asleep once while pushing with a patient. I would have my arm on a bar and literally, you know, when you fall asleep and you do one of these.
Yeah.
Like I did one of these and there was a vagina. Like, hello.
Whoops.
How come that's never happened to me?
I've never fallen asleep.
I've never woken up with a vagina in my face.
Yeah. Yeah. That's never happened to me. So,
well, you know, it's when you're seeing hundreds of them a day.
Yeah, sure.
Like so, you know, in that sort of traumatic time, I had these 4 years of residency where literally you are stripped down to the studs and then rebuilt into some people come out kinder and gentler. Some people come out bitter and jaded. Some people don't come out of it at all. And that's the whole physician suicide part that they talk about. But then when you come out and all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, I am where the buck stops.
Yeah.
And then you have to deal with insurance companies. And then especially in OBGYN, we deal with lawyers. So I used to joke all the time with people. I'm like, so I went to med school for 4 years, 4 years of residency in order for insurance companies to tell me what I can and can't do, what I can and can't order. And then lawyers to tell me if I did it right. I've lost all my autonomy. I can't make a decision. And now on top of it, I have AI telling me what that patient needs when maybe that's not what the patient needs because the patient has been telling AI what they want to tell AI.
Right.
Because they want a certain outcome.
Right.
Or like I'm only as good as what I'm given. Like there's a joke that you can't make chicken out of chicken shit.
Yeah.
Like if someone comes to me and they've been smoking and they've been drinking and they've been treating their body like garbage, guess what? They're going to age harder than someone who took care of themselves all the way through. There's no hack to it. There's no easy
Well, there's no
way.
Reversal hack at that point for sure.
Right. Like what you do in your 20s, 30s, and 40s determine how you age in your 50s, 60s, 70s. When doctors tell you, eat healthy, exercise regularly, it's not because we're sadists.
Right.
It's because that's what keeps the meat suit that you were born in doing well. Like it's just, but there are so many people that prey on people's fear and insecurity and want to give you a quick fix. Like there's a whole thing on my feeds right now about Tai Chi walking. Like everyone should be Tai Chi walking. You know what? Everyone should be Tai Chi-ing. Yeah. And everybody should be meditating and everybody should be exercising and everybody should be, but
have you seen the Asian guy, the AI ambiguous Asian guy with like 12 abs?
Somebody was doing a news article on that. Like what about everybody doing Tai Chi? You know, it keeps coming up on Instagram and TikTok. I'm like, they're all AI. Yeah, they're all AI. There's no.
Not Tai Chi. There's no Tai Chi in there at all.
They will be extremely strong, but they will not look jacked.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I know a lot of Tai Chi people. None of them look like that.
Right. so I mean, you can do Tai Chi and look like that. But Tai Chi, but does it do great things for your body? 100%. Do good things for your body, mind, and spirit? Totally. But here's the thing. We live in a rat race culture where productivity is key. Measurables are important. So, okay, if you want to get through perimenopause without any kind of medications, and well, okay, so start exercising in your 20s and 30s.
Sure.
Don't smoke. Minimize your alcohol risk. Try and do, but then it starts becoming a full-time job. So, okay, I need to get 150 minutes of regular cardio. I need to be eating adequate protein. I need to be meditating at least 3 times a day. I need to use a gratitude practice. Don't forget to journal. And by the way, add in a little Tai Chi. Like, then you have to work a full-time job. And if you have kids, you have to deal with them. And if you have parents that are aging and you have to deal with them, and you have to take the dog for a walk, and don't forget to get fresh air and enough vitamin D. But if you don't get enough, then make sure you supplement. Like, holy moly, no wonder people are going crazy, because you can't do all the things that social media is telling you to do and that other people are lying about and saying that they do.
Tom and I have said this 100 times if we said it once on the show. If you only had 32 hours in a day, you'd be healthy too.
Well, I mean, that is like, I mean, we've joked about other influencers and biohackers that are like, let me tell you my daily routine. I meditate for an hour. I get up at 4 a.m. Yeah, and you're like, that's bullshit. And it's also nice that, like, you might be able to combine 2 or 3 of these things. Like, oh, you meditate in the sauna. Great. Okay. But you're also doing, a 2-hour HIIT workout too, and then you're somehow working. Yeah, that's not. These are not human.
These lifestyles only work for influencers who don't actually have to have a job.
And they're bullshit. And they're absolute bullshit.
Right. And you have to sleep 8 hours. Make sure you're getting your 8 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
Right. Which is even funnier, because if you take 8 hours off, you're basically like, okay, I now need to cram all of this shit in. It's not even 24 hours.
Yeah.
Right. And be present for your partner and have sex, and be present for your kids, but don't have sex when your kids are around, and make sure that you're keeping open lines. I mean, there's so many goods. Here's the bottom line. Do the best you can most of the time, and don't hate yourself into changing, and embrace where you are. And like, when I talk to patients in the office, they're like, well, do I need hormones? Should I take them? Like, I don't measure hormones in the office, because just like I don't measure hormones during puberty to tell a girl if she's done yet, no hormone measurement is going to tell you where you're going to be or where you've been. It'll tell you where you are on that day. So a lot of things. And I know that you take supplements and all of that, and that's great if you're not getting what you need from the foods that you're eating or from your lifestyle. So then take the supplements if you need to supplement. But the people that are doing all of these crazy testing, I always kind of bring up, if you're going to someone who's going to do a lot of blood work to tell you what you're deficient in, and then they're going to sell you the things to replace what you're deficient in, can they remain unbiased? And maybe they can. I don't know, but that's a question that I ask. And I like to ask lots of questions. Like, okay, if I run your hormone testing and I run your estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone, what is it going to change? Because one of my other mentors was like, if you're going to do a test, are you going to act on the results of the test? If you're not what you're going to do, don't do the test.
Yeah, like 10, 15 years ago, homocysteine was the big biohacking thing, right?
Yeah.
And all these bikers that I was, in cycling with were all going to get homocysteine tests. And I went to a doctor who a bunch of us had gone to, and he's like, God damn it, another person asking for a homocysteine test. Like, what are you going to do with this information? And then I was like, well, I mean, if it comes back bad, then I've got a mitochondria issue probably, and I'd like to start looking into that. And he's like, oh, you actually had an answer. Okay, well, I guess. I was like, it's like, I guess we could keep going with
but I mean, that was even with the gluten-free stuff. It's like, well, somebody told you it was bad, and then you stopped listening after that. Right. You didn't say, okay, what is it? And then you go, fuck, I got to give up bread. Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not even the gluten-free. It's all the other shit in the bread.
Bad
bread. If you eat bread from the bakery aisle that spoils in 3 days, or eat, like, people talk about European foods are so much fresher. Yeah. Cause you have to go to the market every 2 to 3 days and you get your food fresh.
Yeah, which is a huge pain in the ass, but I like doing it. I'm actually on a little bit of a kick right now doing like not raw, but like a lot of more cooking on my own and stuff,
Yeah.
and whole food. And listen, I love it. But I told my wife last night, I'm like, I just went to the grocery store, spent $138 on like basically like 4 meals, maybe 5. You know what I mean? And, you know, that's not sustainable. We had a guest recently. I don't think his episode's aired yet, but he basically, it's like, he was a very wealthy guy. And he goes, listen, stop. I'm not going to let you tell me it costs money. I go to Costco, I buy this and that. It cost me like $12, $8 a day or something in like food. And it's like, you know what? I got to look into that. Cause like, if you are just going a la carte to the market, this shit adds up fast, man. I mean,
it does.
So Doc, before we get out of here, let's talk about what we want to talk about, whatever you want to guide people to. I love this, by the way. Thank you so much for coming. We were told recently that we hold space for women and their issues, which we did not necessarily guide, but it's
was that the
funny.
sex wishes, or was that
might have
the,
been the sex witches, actually?
Catherine, the Tibetan throat singing tattoo
no,
artist?
You're right. I think it was the sex witches. And I was like, you know, then I looked at our guest list. We do actually have a lot of women talking about things, but I don't think we've ever had a gynecologist. And I think that maybe we need to have more, including your friend over there at the
I already tagged her, Gail Dines.
Yeah, Gail Dines. Yeah, but thank you so much for coming, and this is very enlightening, and I love learning more about this stuff because we're all of that age, and I think every woman I know is going through menopause or perimenopause.
Absolutely, and I'm always happy to come back if you want to talk more.
Yeah, I love to. Yeah, we'd love that.
It would be super fun. This was great. So I do have, I'm working on and building an online presence. It's called The Girlfriends Gyno, all one word. So it's on Insta, Facebook, TikTok. I have a website, thegirlfriendsgyno.com, where I have some blog posts to try and just normalize and promote health and knowledge, and ask questions with no judgment attached. So honestly, I take care of lots of people that are on compounded estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. I have friends that inject the pellets into other people. Would I do that? No, because once those pellets are in, it's like getting a glycerin suppository out of a toddler. I hope you like it because it's in there.
Because it's in there.
It's in there. There's no getting it out. And I'm starting to see, like, I've been in this career long enough that I've watched the hormone trend go from everybody on it to everybody off of it. To everybody. So I joke that 15 years ago, if I said, I really think you need a little bit of estrogen, people are like, are you trying to kill me? To like now where it's like, I don't know if you need estrogen. I think we shouldn't prescribe it. And people are like, are you trying to kill me? That's going to mean that I'm going to get dementia and I'm going to get strokes and I'm going to die because you're not giving me hormones. But there's a middle ground. And I think that pendulum just swings too broadly. It's not a fix everything anti-aging thing. It's a helping you transition in a way that is healthy for you and needs to be tailored to the individual, not with an online AI generated person, but with a provider. So am I seeing more cancers now from compounded hormones? I am. People are coming in to see me with irregular bleeding on compounded hormones, and I'm diagnosing more cancer. So here's your spoiler alert. In 5 years, people are going to be saying, we shouldn't be on estrogen anymore because it causes cancer, or we shouldn't be compounding. So like, I hate to have that spoiler alert, kind of like my little hatchet.
Can you tie it back to that though? Is that's because that's interesting, because we actually just had somebody on the show saying the exact opposite. They're like, hey, look, you know, the black box warning came off of these things.
Well, it did. The black box warning did come off of vaginal estrogen and estrogen patches, and we're learning more. We need to really tailor it. It's the compounded stuff that you're not exactly sure what's in it.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And you're getting these little sawdust capsules, and it's unregulated, and it's estradiol and estradiol and estetriol that's all blended together with progesterone. And I mean, the funny thing is when we talk about bioidenticals, like we could do a whole show talking about the bullshit of bioidenticals.
Oh, you think it's bullshit? Yeah, we'll have you back.
No,
yeah, I talk about that all day.
I love the idea of bioidenticals, but I describe a bioidentical, and people use the term bioidentical to mean natural, but bioidentical is
it's still
synthesized.
synthetic.
So when people are like, I only want natural, I'm like, well, the most natural one is the horse pee one because it's organic.
But that is one, between that and the Primpro, those are the two that I think were causing the problems in the first place, correct?
Well, only in the Women's Health Initiative. Here's the thing. Estrogen is going to impact anything that hits the estrogen receptor is going to do what estrogen does.
Yeah.
And unopposed estrogen leads to malignancy, period, end.
All right. So we'll send you an email. We'll get you back on the show because clearly we're going to talk for another 5 hours here.
Yeah.
And I would love to do that. I would love to do that.
Sold. Just like a period, we come back regularly.
We'll
see you in 28 to 34 days.
Yeah. Well, Doc, thank you again so much. This was awesome. Where to find you, by the way? Where are we sending people?
So thegirlfriendsgyno.com or at thegirlfriendsgyno.
Okay, great. Perfect. And
awesome.
We will see you on Thursday for the premiere.
You certainly will. I have a fabulous black dress that I will be wearing to the
Amazing.
movie premiere.
Well, we are not going to, unfortunately, have this aired before then, so this will be retroactively before
that. It'd be great to hang out at the.
Yeah, it was awesome, and
it was awesome to hang out. It was.
I know we're kicking off. We were definitely the first screening, so I think there'll be more in the future. So we'll make sure that we tag this as future screenings come up. I hear there's one out on the West Coast at some point, but I don't have the details.
So exciting! It is
very cool.
It's like Mark Cuban says, like, we can fuck up medicine. It needs to be blown up and recreated.
It does, in fact.
That are open-hearted and open-minded, and that's the group of people that are involved with this. We're not just bitching about what's wrong with it. We're looking at what's wrong with it so we can make it right.
Yeah, I agree. I can't wait. It's going to be great.
It'll be a great
Doc,
time.
Thank you again. And stick around.
Okay.
Have a great weekend, guys. Take care.
Be subversive, irreverent.
Health is wealth, but you knew that.
Everybody knows that.
But so is following us on social media at Irreverent Health. And check out our website for more exclusive content at irreverenthealth.com.
Oh, I like this.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of Irreverent Health.